Hi, I'm Bet from Bet's Makes, and today we're going to be making a woven card. And a woven card simply means this, as you can see the holes all the way through, so we're going to make this nice weave pattern. This is just simply a piece of double-sided printed cardstock, and of course we have the area for the greeting as well, so that's a thinner paper that you can use. I've got one there and one on the inside, so a light cardstock, a medium or a heavy cardstock for the woven card, and a Cricut pen or two, depending on the colors that you want to use. And it's time to get started. So let's move over to Cricut Design Space and get going. As we're working on the woven card today, there's only one file that you need to bring into Cricut Design Space, and that is the card itself. The other two images that you see on the screen, I created on the fly in Cricut Design Space, and we'll learn how to do all of this. So let's go to the upload. When you've started a new project, you want to upload a file called Weave Card Cricut Score. Now that will be in the zip files that you will download from my asset folder on my resource guide. So that's the first thing you want to do, and then you want to add that to your canvas. So I'm going to go back to the canvas because I already preloaded it. Now, this is the file that you will get, and you will see that it comes with the cut lines and the score line already together. If you look over at the layers panel here, you'll see everything is attached the way it should. You do not need to touch any of this. This card will cut exactly as is. The biggest issue when you have just a card like this with a fold and cut lines is you want to add some greetings. Now these are two examples here that I had for greetings. And all I did was I created a shape. So let's go over to our shapes and let's start with our hexagon. I'm just going to move it over the top here. I'm going to change its color to white just so it's easier. Now I want to shape it, so I'm going to click here on the little lock, or I can come up to the top for the little lock on the sizing. If you're using a tablet, you will find it down at the bottom. If we go right on the shape, let's click on that lock. You'll see it unlocks. That means that I can now size it to any way that I want. So if I want the shape just to fit on the front like this, I'm going to lock it back into place. Then I know that that is the correct size, and then I can add a greeting into the middle of it. Now the same would be true of the circle. So let's also create a circle. So let's grab this circle. I'm going to change it to white as well. It's now under something called operation, but you want to make it white. I'm going to click on the lock here as well. And remember, you can always do it in sizing. Remove the lock. You could type the numbers in. It is much easier to eyeball it when you're making a greeting on a card. Now, I can make it thinner like this, so it's a little mirror image. I'm going to lock it back up because I don't want it to change. Now, this would go on the inside of the card. These are two separate items. I'm just going to place them over top here so you can see this one would go on the outside and that would actually go on the inside of the card. But what you want to do now is maybe add a greeting. In this case, I added Happy Easter on this one or similar one. And we can do the same with ours right now. So let's go to our text. And I'll just type in Happy Easter. Now it's going to pick up the font that has been selected for you, and it always defaults to Cricut Sans. Now I want to make sure that that is going to be centered. So I'm going to come up here to Align, and I'm going to go to Center, and you'll notice the word Easter just moved into place. I'm going to put it over top. I know it's a little big right now, but I'm going to double click it, and I am going to select all the words here. Now I'm going to go up to the font, and I'm going to pick a different font. So there's one here called Curls that I could use, which I used in our example. So let's just click on Curls MT. You'll notice it doesn't have an A for access, and there is no fee attached to it. I just want to let you know when you're searching for these, sometimes like this one, it's called DIN Next Stencil, there's a $4.99 charge to use that one. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to pick one that is free. If you have Cricut Access, you can pick different fonts. I'm just going to click on this one for now, and you'll see that it changes and it's now smaller than what it was before. Now, I probably don't want it to do this in black, so once again, you'll see that this has become a basic cut, but I don't want it to cut. I want it to draw. So I'm going to come down here to pen at this time. So it's under draw and is pen. I could also pick on foil. I could change it to a score or a debossing or an engraving, but we are going to go for the pen. And once we have the pen selected, then we're going to pick on a color. Right now I'm just going to pick on raspberry. Now I want this circle and I want the words, and I want the words to type in on here and cut out the big circle. But first thing I want to do is select them both. I'm going to come up here to align. I'm going to center horizontally and a line again and center vertically. Now they're in perfect alignment. I'm going to select both of these together, and what I'm going to do is I am going to attach them. So now they become one piece. Now that would take care of this one. Now for this other one, you'll notice I have a little image in behind plus the text. So let's find an image that will work for this. So let's go over to images over on the left here. And it allows us to search all images. I'm going to type in bunny and see what comes up. Now I do have Cricut Access, so there's different kinds of bunnies that it will have, but if you scroll through, you'll see some have a fee attached and some have none because you're all subscribed. We can scroll through and pick any kind of bunny that we want in the background. I tend to use things that are pretty simple. Now I don't want a print and cut. I just want something to draw in the background. So I'm going back up to the top here and I will select the same bunny that I had found before. It is free to me because I have Cricut Access. It may be a little different for you. I will put the link for Cricut Access below this video. So let's click on that bunny and let's insert that image. Now we want the bunny to fit on here, so we are going to actually unlock that bunny and kind of stretch it out the way we want it. Now it's not proportional the way the other one was. I'm just going to move it over. I'm going to make it a longer bunny here. So it's not the exact same size, but that looks pretty good. I'm going to lock it in place. Now, if I pull on this bunny, if you take a look over here, this is a basic cut, so it'll just cut out the shape, but I don't want it to cut. I want it to draw in place. So while the bunny is selected, we're coming over here to Operation, and we're going to come down here to Pen, and because I want to keep it the same color as the other one, I'm going back to the raspberry, and then I'm just going to push it into place where we want it. Yep, that looks pretty good. But I'm not going to attach everything yet because I want some words in the center. Now I'm going back to my text. You'll notice up here it keeps the same font that you used the last time. So I've got curls MT. So now I'm going to have Bunny Love. Enter love. And once again, when Bunny Love comes up, I want to change my alignment to center. That looks really good. I'm just going to drag it over here. See if it's going to fit. It's a little big, but that might not be too bad. So I might just pull it down so love is on its own. And the bunny looks pretty good right where it is. Now once again, this is set up as a cut file. You'll see basic cut here. We do not want it to cut. We come over here to Operations. And we're going to change that to pen. And of course, I'm going to change my pen to raspberry. Now everything is the same color. Now you could change the color of the text and the bunny so you get two different things. As a matter of fact, that would be the easy thing to do. So let's click on the bunny and have the bunny come into a different color. So maybe we want to make this a dark green bunny. So now we'll be able to switch two pens out. So now I'm going to select the whole works here because I have them placed the way I want them. And I am going to attach them. Now this is one piece. So this will cut out separately. Now I'm going to take these two that I've done before, and I'm going to be using these when we do our cut. But that is how you're going to be able to put together all of these pieces. Now, one thing I want to tell you about, let's move over and save this. I've already saved it once. It was called Easter Weave Card. I just have 4 greetings on it now. I'm going to come over here and we're going to make it. Now I can remove the ones that I don't want to print and cut here. Well, actually they're draw and cut. It's now called pen and basic cut. And I also want to look at this piece, which is a score and a cut. So you can see that everything is the way we want it. Now, I'm not too sure if these pieces will fit exactly the way I want it, but we're going to give this a try. I'm going to take this one and I am going to move this object. I'm going to move it over to the one mat. Comes up the top and it does fit. So this means I can use one mat for my cut. And I'm going to come back to the other one. We have a Happy Easter here. I'm going to move that to the other mat, move it to this one, confirm it, and then I will move this in place. Now the big thing here is I can put on a piece of paper for my cut of my card itself. I usually use a double-sided heavy cardstock. If you use a heavy cardstock or a medium cardstock, because things are on the same mat, you will have to do the same for the bottom 2 items. If you don't want to use the same cardstock, you will go back and you will use one mat for your items here and one mat for the ones that you have just made. Now, we can also get rid of these. I can hide the selected and I can just simply hide these. That means they will not cut out on the mat. So now we have the 2 pieces we put together. Now I could use a light cardstock for this so it'll draw perfectly. And then a heavy cardstock or a medium cardstock for the card. Okay, that is all there is to putting this whole project together. So let's go over and see how we assemble this. So here we are at the demo table. Now I've colored in the letters that we have printed just to give it a little more appeal. I could outline the bunny as well. I have my whole set of Cricut pens. You'll notice that they are in upside down so that I have access to them and they won't dry out on me. So I could take my little bunny and do it in silver or gold. Let me try a nice little silver. All you need to do with these is just follow the outline. You can make it as nice as you wish. I might just put it down around the bottom here. You're going to see this is a thicker pen, but once you have the outline there, it's really easy to do a trace. You could do different colors if you wish. Now I've got several different colors here, but that would just give you the idea. Now, those are the 2 pieces. One will go on the inside, one on the outside. Now, I can attach these in a couple of ways. I have these foam pads that you can use, so I can attach them on the outside. And I also have this double-sided tape that I could use as well. But before we get going on anything, I want to take our card. Now, I have all these different cuts that we had. Now, before we fold anything in half, before we do the score line, you want to make sure that you have all of your pieces separated here. You see there's smaller ones and larger ones. It's the smaller ones that we're going to be concerned with because we are going to fold them so we can pick what is the outside and what's the inside. This will be the outside. So what we are going to do here is we're going to take our smaller pieces and simply fold them up so you get a nice little design. Now we're going to do that with each of the smaller pieces. I'm going to fold it up. So we're getting a nice little design going here. And where's the next one? I'm just going to fold them up so they're right on top of each other, just like that. Hold it in. Now I've used a double-sided cardstock here, so I get some nice pattern colors. This is a little bit different. It's a really easy one to do. And it's just a matter of using the cut. So we're just going to fold them up. I think there's one more to go here. We'll fold that up. Now, if this is going to be the inside, because you want the folds on the inside, we are going to take this now and we are going to change it over so that we are going to fold it. And it'll come down right in the center here. It's exactly where we want it. I'm going to be very gentle with it at the beginning, just to make sure we get our folds in perfectly here as well. So I'm going to push that one a little bit. Now I have my little toolkit here of all my Cricut tools. It's a little toolbox. So I want to just make sure that we get our fold right. So I'm just going to give it a little squish here. Now I'm going to fold it over here. And finally give it a burnish so it's in place. Now this is a really cute little design. You can see some of the green through here, but my favorite part is when you open it up and this is the design you get to see. Okay, I am going to add my bunny love to the outside, and on this particular one I am going to use the foam pads to push this one down, and then I might think about coloring this again a little later, but we're going to use the foam pads just to make it really easy. And I'm just going to put a few in place. Don't need a lot. Maybe 4 or 5 at the top, because it's a rounder piece. Just take it like this, and of course I want one in the center just to hold it out so it stands out from the card. Now you could use a different kind of cardstock for this if you want. I have a tool here. I'm going to use this one, which is just a weeding tool, and I'm just going to pick off just the middle one to do now. I just want to center this the best I can. There we go. And it just gives it a nice little 3D effect. Now you could have cut the bunny out by itself as well, but it gives this wonderful little look to the card, and I love it when you open it because you see the opposite color on the inside. And this one I'm just going to use a double-sided tape. I have this red tape, and I think I'll just put a couple of pieces on here. Once again, you don't need to load it up with tape. You just need to have it in the right places so it's not going to come apart. Generally, I put a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom. And one more piece here. Now you notice I'm not right out to the edge with it. You don't need to be. It gives it a nice look when you have it done the other way. So I'm just going to pull these off. There's one. Now my tool has been overused, so it's got a little crook in the end, so it's easier to pull up the double-sided tape. You can do it with your fingers if you want. A little extra hook on the edge. You can probably see it's got a little bend in it. Okay, one more to take off here. Take it off from that little bend. There we go. Now the biggest issue here is going to be lining it up before you put it on the card. And since we have lines on this one, it's a lot easier. I try to do the best I can with the centering. And there we have it. We have this gorgeous little card. that has this woven pattern on the center that gives it something special and different. And of course you can decorate it any way you want. I really hope you enjoyed putting this one together. Well, I hope you had a lot of fun with this, because this card was so easy to make, and you can be very creative about what you want on your greetings. We just used a simple Happy Easter and Bunny Love with an image that came from Cricut Access. Now you could use any image you want. You don't need to stick with exactly how I did this, but the woven card template is the more important part of it. So I hope you enjoyed putting this one together. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on that bell so you're reminded each time I post a video. Until next time, happy crafting.